Almost 4 years after Brexit has happened, the UK's relationship with the EU has been a still key issue, with the British economy now facing greater challenges, and Brexit seems to have played a vital role in this shift.
Well, I'm actually an optimist about the long-term impact of Brexit, but even I recognise that the initial impact on the economy has been negative. In two ways in particular. One is, of course, it's become harder to do trade with our biggest single trading partner, the rest of Europe. So our trade performance has been weaker than it would otherwise have been. But on top of that, business investment has been lower than it would otherwise have been as well. So we've had two hits basically. One is less trade and one is lower investment. And I think it's hard to argue that the impact of Brexit, given that, can have been anything other than negative. But I'm still fairly optimistic about the future. I think for a start, there's plenty of room for debate about how big that negative has been.
Legally, the difficulties of Brexit, of course, was that the arrangements were all done under incredible time pressure. So when you look at the withdrawal agreement and the trade and cooperation agreement that follows, all were conducted under quite significant time pressure. So therefore, quite a lot of problems were not resolved in these treaties. So in particular, the trade and cooperation agreement only deals with trade in goods. It says something about trade in services and other things, but not much. I would have thought, again, this is a trade-off. The closer you have the relationship with the EU, the less autonomy you have. Remember, one of the big reasons why the UK wanted to leave, to reassert autonomy over its own laws, right? But if you want to have smooth access, the EU will actually say, well, then you have to comply with our procedures and processes. So you will inevitably give up regulatory autonomy. So there is a balance to be struck between how much regulatory autonomy you want and need and how smooth the access is going to be.
Brexit has cut off our legs. Why not put them back again rather than try and walk without legs? So it has become a very different country from what I fell in love with when I came here in 1970. Our food has become much more expensive. Our electricity, of course, has become more expensive. And what people don't know, for example, is that our medicine has become more expensive. So our health system is in a crisis.
It's been terrible for this country. There is no positives whatsoever. Nobody can show us anything that has been improved by it. In fact, it's getting worse. Every year it's getting worse. I mean, from the end of January, we're going to start having these controls on on imports and exports, even more than we've got now. It's just ridiculous. One reason, one issue which has been improved by Brexit is what it's brought out is the worst in people. It's brought out the racists, it's brought out the ignorance, and it's brought out tribalism. The people who are responsible for it, they should not only be held to account, they should be imprisoned for lying.